Welcome to the morning after 2024 draft. We're going to be trying this a new way today, as I'm trying to get a new software thing working and the other one's not. So this is what we're doing today. And we'll get it going right away by taking a look at the North Division. And we'll see what we can find here. Take a look at the North Division. So first of all, we'll take a look at Holsey's Colts. First pick, the Holzbauer family has put a lot of stock this year into CMC. This year, his quarterbacks, Dak and Goff. You have Christian McCaffrey, you have Najee Harris, and you have Austin Eckler. So pretty solid running backs, especially number one. After that, there's a bit of a drop off because you never know with an Arthur Smith offense what you're going to get. Mike Evans, Debo, Pittman, high upside with Kincaid, and Sutton's not too bad, touchdown guy. This team, if McCaffrey stays healthy, and especially if Kincaid can deliver, be the main guy in Buffalo, this could be a very scary team. In my opinion, the favorite for the division here to start the year. Number two, coming up here, we have last year's Super Bowl champion, and Bernie pointed out last year that he had the worst record to win a Super Bowl, 7-7, but is Super Bowl champion. Only Brock Purdy there at his quarterback. He has Breece Hall, he has Rachaad White, Ramondre Stevenson, and Jaylen Warren, another Steeler running back, so you never know which way that'll go. Ramondre, the Patriots are terrible, but he should be all the offense. Marvin Harrison, Laporta, Jordan Addison, Christian Kirk, and Mike Williams. So he's got some receiving talent there. There's some, how good is Marvin Harrison going to be? Is he immediately going to be a fantasy receiver number one? We'll see. Laporta's awesome, Sam Laporta. And then receiver three, we'll see. Christian Kirk, head down year, probably going to bounce back. So Bruiser should be a solid team this year. And you never know how it's going to pan out. Breece Hall could be amazing. Rachaad White is solid. So, solid team for Bernie. Probably similar to range as last year's record. Next up, we have the Black Dingoes, who last year did not have a very good day. That season at 4-10. Jalen Hurts and Aaron Rodgers, so should be stacked at quarterback. Bijan, Kenneth Walker, and Javonte, a very, very, very good running back core, but literally, that's it. There's no other players on his team that play running back. An injury, and he's in deep trouble because running backs went crazy this year. Receivers, Nico and Diggs. So two Texans receivers. So if they, could cannibalize each other, which could be hard. Keenan Allen, Trey McBride, Jake Ferguson. So pretty good receivers. A little questionable there. Nico's pretty solid, but maybe lacking a number two there. McBride pans out. You never know. Turning point will be the Texans receivers. If they're both awesome, then it'll be all right. So I have a guest analyst here who's going to give her assessment here of the Black Dingoes and also the following team here. What would you like to say, soccer player Evie? Would you like to say about those two teams? You talk right there to that light. What are you gonna say?
Sorry about your fantasy team.
So yeah, she's feeling a little bad about him. So. Feels bad for you guys. She did tell Tim that at the draft. Next up, we had Team Price is Right there. Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith. Trevor Lawrence has a bounce back and plays like he should have last year. He did that one. Or like he could have. Everybody thought last year. It should be a good team there. Joe Mixon, Raheem Mostert, Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle. Maybe not the hugest upside there. Pollard could, I guess, have some upside, but he's probably going to be splitting work. So the running backs, Mixon is solid. You know what you're going to get top 10 probably, but not top 5. I already did that one too. Good receivers. CeeDee Lamb is amazing. DK Metcalf has a chance to be really, really good. Calvin Ridley, a new offense for him, hopefully better. Hopefully he stands in bounds when he catches balls. George Pickens, again, another guy with big upside, but not a real good quarterback situation. Although Russ did feed Sutton a lot. And then Evan Ingram had a good year last year. And then question is, will this be DK Metcalf's breakout this year? If so, receivers could go from pretty darn good to quite excellent. Next up, in this division, we have Dr. Dangerous right here. Last year went 4-10, started out the year hot. Injuries kind of derailed him. Better than his record. I think he get a lot of points against Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson, so quarterbacks are set. Running backs, Achane, Montgomery, and Zach Moss. Achane, we'll see. If he's great, this team will be really good. If he's not and kind of has intermittent usage, it could be trouble. Montgomery's great as a number 2, but a bit touchdown dependent as I had him last year in both leagues. So I know that. Very good receivers. Tyreek is amazing. Chris Olave is good, very good, and probably be better this year than last. Amari Cooper is solid. Xavier Worthy has big upside, and DeAndre Hopkins is pretty darn good too. But like I said, his season will probably hinge on Devon Achane. What do you think about that team, Evie? You could say, what did you want to say about him?
Sorry about your fantasy team.
Yeah, sorry about your fantasy team, Dan. Next up, Chris's Cardinals. Last year went 9-5, best record in the regular season, but not in the playoffs. Finished third. Yeah, hold up a little closer there. Cardinals, black and red. Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. I really like that. I think I have high upside with both, and Jaden Daniels I think could really be big. Plus the injury history with Burrow, I had to kind of protect myself. Maybe not the smartest move we'll see in the long run, but didn't like anybody else in the 8th round too much, so we'll see. That'll be next. And running back, I loved that I got Jahmyr Gibbs falling to me, so I'm happy with Gibbs and Taylor. Chuba and J.K. Dobbins we'll see as a 3rd and 4th. Not in love with that at all. Receivers, very happy with. Some proving to do though. Drake London, Malik Neighbors, T. Higgins, and Mark Andrews. A little bit of a drop off there with Hollywood Brown next. If my receivers are as good as I think they are, I think I'm gonna have a really good year. Because that could be an explosive group who all could have exceed last year's production if they are at last year's production, or if Neighbors is middling. Not gonna be too good. It'll be a struggle all year, and I'll have to hope that my quarterback's really pan out and I'm able to trade one for a lot. Next up, in the toughest division in the CFFL this year, the Central, we have Vice's Badgers. Last year finished 7-7. They did miss the playoffs. Whoops, got a link. Oops, right there. Perfect. Good job. Jordan Love, all he has a quarterback. Running backs, you have Cook, James Conner, Zamir White, Ty Chandler, and Jerome Ford. So a deep running back crew. Question is Cook a legit number 1, or is he a guy who's going to get 60 to 70 yards rushing, 20 to 30 receiving, fumble it once in a while, and not get a single goal line, not even think about it near the goal line? Yeah, only 2 or 3 touchdowns. If he has that this year, it's going to be trouble. Injury history with Connor, but when Connor plays, he's amazing. Very, very, very good receiving core with Amon-Ra, Buka, Rashee Rice, and Deontay Johnson, especially Deontay now in Carolina, probably going to get a lot of targets. Very good receiving core, and Amon-Ra is about as consistent as you get. Will not, highly, highly unlikely he's the number 1 receiver, but highly unlikely he's anything less than like receiver 8. So it's nice to have that. Next up, we have Mike Smaulers. Last year went 9-5, finished in 4th. Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford, so a very solid quarterback room. Derrick Henry, Brian Robinson, Gus, and Chubb. Probably a touchdown dependent running back room there. Henry should be great. Brian Robinson I really like, but you never know what Washington's going to do. I think you'll get the majority, and Gus, hoping it's J.K. Dobbins, but we shall see. Although I have Gus in the other league, so I'm not going to be too sad however it goes, but probably be 50-50, and they will get a lot of carries. And then here's receiving core. The amazing Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Tank Dell, and Chris Godwin, so a really good 1 through 4. It'll all come down to the receiving running back room. Could have some really big weeks and could have some kind of disappointing weeks with that group. Next up, we have the South Division. We have the little big men. Last year had a down year at 4-10. This year Lamar Jackson and Caleb Williams, Travis Etienne, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, and Blake Corum. Corum's got some upside, good, one of the better handcuffs in the league. Etienne I like a lot. Kamara was productive last year, but he's just not the same player he was, but solid as a number 2 running back. Jamar Chase needs to play for Joe Burrow, although T. Higgins will go off if he doesn't play. So Brandon Ayuk should be really good. Kittle and Odunze, a lot of faith in the Niners, and they don't tend to have more than one player have a good day, so that could be questionable for Chad. And Odunze, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Chicago, so we'll have to see how that plays out, but potentially pretty solid this year. Morton's Minotaurs last year finished 9-5 and a division. Whoops, let me just do this. 9-5 and a division winner. Kyler Murray and Kirk Cousins at quarterback should be set there. Matthew Berry, was super high on Kyler, as am I, have in the other league, and I think he could be really big. Kyren, injury prone, but boy, he's darn good when he plays. Aaron Jones and Khalil Herbert. Running backs are questionable there. Jones has a history of injuries. Herbert had the second option in Chicago, and Kyron's injury prone. That could go downhill in a hurry. If they stay healthy, will be adequate to above average. AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Zay Flowers, and Jaden Reed. Very good receiving core. I'm high on Kupp this year, so we'll see how that goes. If he's healthy, he could be as good as Puka, if not better. And Kelce, again, if he's healthy and he plays like he did in the playoffs, or if they, load management Travis Kelce this year, might not be as great as that. And I'm bitter about AJ Brown last year being great and then tailing off. The whole Eagles did that, so we'll have to see how the Eagles look this year. It should be really, really good, like the A minus. But if things kind of break badly with injuries and age, it could be more of an average group. Finally, we have, well, not finally, the last group here in the South Division. We have the Dynamite, formerly known as the Pterodactyls, formerly known as the Gargoyles, formerly known as the team who didn't have a playoff win in its history for the longest time. And finally has one now, just one though. That is them, Griff. Still one of the coolest helmets, so I will still always reference that one. Last year went 8-5-1, division winner. But don't worry, he didn't win his playoff game. Second worst points in playoff history. Hey, Evie, what do you think about Griff's fantasy team? Why don't you tell him what you think about it?
Sorry about your fantasy team.
Yeah, Griff, Evan, that's your theme of your life. We have Anthony Richardson and Justin Herbert. So big upside with his, not yet, that's the next one. Anthony Richardson, big upside there just with his touchdown capabilities. Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Pacheco, Chase Brown, and Trey Benson. So high upside Trey Benson. Chase Brown I have in the other league, and I heard today it sounds like it's going to be more Zach Moss. So I'm a little sad about that. But he's got potential to be down the road. Zach Moss is always hurt. Pacheco a little disappointed with the Pirine signing there. Got that all confused. And Barkley, we'll see if he's still the same Saquon as he used to be. Potential to be a pretty solid running back room, though. Devontae, Jalen Waddle, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson, and Brian Thomas Jr. Good upside at receiver. So a pretty good group there for the Gargoyles, aka the Pterodactyls, aka Dynamite. And finally, we have Scott's Horn Dogs, who last year finished 7-6-1, improbably finished 7-6-1 after the injuries decimated them, and I thought he was going to have one of the worst teams in the league, but almost pulled off a playoff in the playoffs last year. CJ Stroud and Tua is a solid. That's good. Thank you. Is a good quarterback room. Josh Jacobs a little earlier than I thought he would go, but the potential with bell cow Green Bay there. DeAndre Swift and Singletary. I'm not super crazy about those two as a 2 and 3, but you never know how they play out. Singletary should be, making some touchdowns, especially with hopefully they throw it to neighbors a lot. Otherwise, the Giants' offense could be bad. Then we have receivers. I really like Garrett Wilson. Sorry, Devontae Smith, I really like that as his number 2. The group of 3, Pitts, JSN, and Dobbs. And one of those guys should stand out to eventually be a solid receiver, so the receiving core should be good. Probably come down to the second running back. If one of them stands up and is really good, Horn Dogs could be decent. So, best pick of the draft. I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson at pick 17, which I think is criminal that he didn't go till then. I was trying to text Michael to make a trade. I would have given up a lot to get to number 17. But I didn't get in time. Good pick for Michael. Crazy for everybody else to pass on him, even with a mediocre quarterback thrown to him. I'd say the best quarterbacks are Burrow and Jaden. Jaden's got huge upside, and Burrow, as of a couple years ago when he's actually healthy for once going into the season, was great at quarterback. Bingos, I think the best running backs, just 3 of them, but boy, they're darn good. Javonte's number 3 could be really good. Sean Payton stubbornly will run the ball and throw to him a lot. And the Badgers, I think, have the best receiving core with Amon-Ra, Puka, Rice, and Deontay. Although Puka, having him last year, he does get hurt a lot after every play, it seems like. But he's a fun player to watch. He runs super hard. Pick for the winner of the North Division. I'm going to go with Holsey's Colts. I think this is the year the Colts break through. Best team on paper going into the season. The Central Division. I'm going to pick. Who are you going to pick, Evelyn? We'll pick the Cardinals. I think it's a stacked division. I really wouldn't be surprised if anyone wins it. It's pretty good. I think every team's really good. But I'm going to go with myself on that one. South Division, I'm going to go with the Gargoyles on that one. I think that's a pretty solid division too. But I do think the Gargoyles might be the better team there. So my prediction for the Super Bowl. Last year I got 2 out of the 4 teams right. This year I will pick the Gargoyles to make the Super Bowl. Don't worry, Griff, I'm not picking to win another playoff game. I'm picking to win your division and get a bye into there for Super Bowl 31 here. Team Prices Right has been in there for I think 3 straight years. This would be a record setter if he does. So I don't think his team on paper to start the year is that good, but Tim does a good job managing. He'll get his team through. Dr. Dangerous, who I think is a very good team. And who could that fourth team be? Who could it be? Yep, I'm going with myself on that one. I do like my team this year. I think there's some good competition. It should be a great year. So we will end there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Best of luck. Season starts tomorrow, so pretty pumped for football. Are you pumped for football? Probably not really, but gosh, I am. So best of luck this year to everyone except Junior playing me. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.